I want to spend a few minutes talking about screen resolution and the size of your e-learning lesson. And what I'm going to talk about is relevant in the top e-learning tools, specifically Adobe Captivate, Articulate Storyline, and TechSmith Camtasia Studio. All of those tools require you to set up the size of your project, width and height, and if you're going to record screen actions, what's the desktop resolution that you record at, and what's ideal for your users. On your screen in front of you, I happen to be showing you the recording control panel for Adobe Captivate, but like I said, it's a similar set of concerns in Storyline and Camtasia. Back in the old days, if I were to capture a lesson at 640 by 480, that would be perfectly fine for a standard computer. But monitors are getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and you have to concern yourself with mobile devices like the iPad, the Kindle. You also have to concern yourself, are you going to put your content on YouTube? As I've experimented, specifically if I'm going to put my content on YouTube, I've come up with a size that works reasonably well on YouTube. And it definitely isn't 640 by 480. And 800 by 600, which is a size I typically use for my desktop recordings, that doesn't look very good on YouTube either. As a matter of fact, if you record at 800 by 600, which I could choose from this drop-down menu, it's right here. If I go 800 by 600, what I typically see is black bars on the left and or the right of my video on YouTube. And sometimes I've got black bars at the top and the bottom as well. So as I've experimented and played around, I've found that 1024 by 568 is a really nice size. I'm going to go ahead and change that size now. That size works really well, gives me plenty of width and height to do things on my computer. I'm showing you my Windows desktop, but this would be the same on the Macintosh desktop as well. So that's great. 1024 568 works the best in my experimentation, especially with YouTube. But that has nothing to do with the desktop resolution of your computer when you record your lesson. So I'm going to cancel my recording here, and I want to talk about my desktop resolution. You can see the size of the words on the recycle bin. You can see the size of the word computer on my desktop, and I'm showing you my desktop for Windows 7. If I right-click my desktop, one of the menu items is screen resolution. When I choose screen resolution, the screen resolution dialog box opens, and this will be the same in all versions of Windows, or similar anyway. You'd get your screen resolution through your control panel. On the Macintosh, it'd be through preferences. And what I have to concern myself with here is the resolution of my computer, since this is what people will see when they look at my recording. From my resolution drop-down menu, I've got several sizes. With my particular monitor and my hardware and software, I could go as high as 2560 by 1600. You can't see it here down lower on my screen, but I could go as low as 800 by 600. So what's the difference? If I go very, very low, like 800 by 600, the font shown in my dialog boxes, the icons on my desktop, are going to get really big. I don't think they'll look that good at that low of a resolution. On the other hand, if I go really, really high and maybe pick 2560 by 1600 as my resolution, things on my display are going to look sharper, but they're also going to look smaller. So I really have to pick the proper balance between too high and too low. The typical resolution used today, and you can find this information at w3schools.com, is 1366 by 768. Now, 1376 by 812 is the closest I can get to that with my hardware, so that's what I've set it to. But that's right about the typical resolution of today's user and the desktop that they'll be using. Again, you want to avoid going too high for your resolution, icons get too small, and you want to avoid going too low, things won't look very good and kind of blurry if you do that.